Hello everyone, today I'm going to be making waffles, and instead of just making the basic waffles, I'm going to be making gingerbread waffles. So these were something I made at Christmas and they were really good, but I've decided to make them again because they're something that I can enjoy at any time of year. It doesn't have to be Christmas. So to start, I've got the dry ingredients for basic waffles here. So 1 cup of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of bicarb soda, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and a pinch of salt. Now this recipe will make 4 waffles. The full size recipe is double the ingredients. So if you want more than 4 waffles, you have to double the ingredients. Now to this recipe you'll need to also add in 1 egg. Crack that straight into the bowl. And along with your 1 egg you need some warm milk. Now for the warm milk we have 3/4 of a cup. So I just warm that up in the microwave and I add that straight in. And then I've got the butter here. Now in the original recipe the butter is 1/3 of a cup, and Google says 1/2 of a third of a cup is 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons. So I'll pour that in. Now I've got this a little bit extra which I'm going to reserve because even though my waffle iron says it's non-stick, I find that they stick to the pan if I don't use a little bit of butter or some cooking spray oil. So since I'm out of the spray oil, that's what I'm going to use today, just that little bit of leftover butter. You just want to lightly grease it, it doesn't need to be slathered in butter. And this mixture comes together really quickly. Pretty much just whisk it for about a minute. When you cook this, it might look a little bit lumpy now, but it doesn't have any lumps in it when you cook it. So I just keep on whisking this for, I'd say about another 30 seconds. So that's a perfect batter there. And I'm just going to turn on my waffle iron in a minute. And I'm going to turn the waffle on sideways so I can show you how I cook it. But first we need to add some things to make these gingerbread. So to start off, I've got some ginger here, I've got some cinnamon, and I've got vanilla. Now vanilla actually goes in the original recipe. About a teaspoon of that goes in the full recipe. I really like vanilla, so I'm still going to do about a teaspoon in there. And for the cinnamon, I'm just going to sprinkle this in, but you want about a teaspoon of cinnamon and about 2 teaspoons of ginger. If you want it to be really gingery, you could put more in, but I just want this to have a little bit of a hint of both of those spices, and that'll add just enough spice to that. Remember, you want to double everything if you're wanting to make more than 4 waffles. I used to make the full recipe, but we don't really need to eat that many. And that smells really good. So we just need to turn on the waffle iron. What I'm going to do is reshuffle everything and cook here from the side, just so you can see the waffle iron. So I've got my little bit of butter, and I'm just going to use a silicone spatula, and just going to put a little bit of that on the top and on the bottom. And just going to put that back down for a minute. Now it says it's heating up. What we want to do is switch from our whisk onto soup ladle, and I just get 1 ladle full of mixture and put that straight into the middle. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds or so. Now it's got setting on this for how hot you want it. Now you pretty much just put that into the middle and get as much as you can off of there. Don't worry about scraping it all out. And you press that down and it'll spread out to the sides. You don't want too much, because if it's too much it'll go over the sides. Now it's got a ready on this side, so when it's green that means it's ready to turn on. And it's light on this side, dark on this side, and there's also a preheat if you go all the way. So I'm just going to wait now for that to turn green, and while that's happening I'll get a few things ready. Just got a plate here to plate them up, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to serve this with. So I've got some golden syrup here. I like golden syrup or a bit of maple syrup. The other thing you could use would be a bit of honey would be nice, or some agave, maybe a rice malt syrup, whatever you like that's kind of sweet. Then I've got some sprinkles, just a few hundreds of thousands there you can put on top. A bit of cinnamon sugar on top is quite nice. I'm just going to serve this with my syrup and maybe a bit of ice cream. So it says it's still heating. It's looking like it's cooking. Just give it a little bit longer and then I'll check it. I've got a flip here to check it with. So now it might stick to the top. Yep, sticking to the top, so just give that a little bit longer. Once it says ready, that's when it should be done. So it's all just a waiting game now. Waiting, waiting, waiting for my waffles. Okay. So I might just check it now, even though it doesn't say ready. Have a look. Okay, oh, that's still a bit light, so I'm going to leave that a little bit longer. You can take it out. You can turn the heat up. You can turn the heat up. But I find when you turn it up, because it gets hot, once it's a certain temperature, it seems to be hotter and hotter the longer you cook it, so it starts to burn, and you have to turn it back down. So I'm just going to check that. Yeah, I reckon that's perfect. So to get this out, I'm just going to get a knife as well, and gently get under it with the knife. Try not to scratch it. And if you can get your flip in there, just flip it over. There it is, one perfectly done waffle. So I'll do another one. And this next one shouldn't take as long because the iron's heated up. Straight into the middle. Close it up. Now because I put a bit of butter on it the first time, I'm not going to bother putting any more butter on it again. Should be right to go now. And I might just get a nice serving plate for these. I'm making a bit of a mess. This first one down. So you can also serve these with some fresh fruit, and these ones that I've got, you can actually cut them into little hearts and just have, you know, a couple of little waffles each if you just want a little small something, so that you don't have to eat the whole thing. Now that says ready. Let's check that. There we go. Half the time. That's ready. Perfect. See, now as you can see, I don't know if you can see this bit here, but because it was a little big, it's gone over the edge a little. So put that on the plate. That's perfect. Let's get the third one going. So once this third one's in, there's only one more to go and they're all done. While that's cooking, I'm going to serve this one up. I've just got some cookies and cream ice cream, and I'll put some of that straight in the middle. Put any sort of ice cream on this that you like, or even a bit of gelato or sorbet, whatever you've got. Just making a mess. It's not fun if you're not making a mess, right? A bit of this on top. That'll melt a little bit on those warm waffles, which would be nice. Plenty of that. Go. And then just a bit of golden syrup. I'm just going to go all over the top. Now the tip with this, this is a light golden syrup, but I filled it with regular golden syrup. It works just as well. And you know what? Just to be fun, put a couple of sprinkles on top. Why not? Alright, that's my gingerbread waffles. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to go eat these now.